Today's story is a little different. It's about God's discipline. If you read from the title, it's about God or porn. And you can't serve two masters. So if you listen to the earlier stories about the Cumberland Boys Club, you know it was amazing stories about how I didn't want to do the Cumberland Boys Club, but God put it all together. Absolutely phenomenal. And after 2 years of running it, God showed up one day and says, well, it's time for you to move on. I got somebody else in mind to finish the job here. And I said, no, you can't do that. I mean, I've been running the thing. We're just going awesome right now. It's like pulling a pitcher on the bottom of the ninth inning and a no-hitter in the World Series. So but God says, no, I have somebody else in mind. And so I said, yeah, I know, it's Stefan. And I can't even get him to return my phone calls to come. And he says, I know. He says, he won't come until you leave. So you have to leave. Okay. So ready to leave, and I was on my way to work, and I got to work, and the boss called me in the office. Now, 2 years before that, if you recall that part of the story, he had called me in to come to the office there, like come home basically, come to that branch, and help take him from an old-style managing of a branch to a new Salesforce type managing, which was kind of I like to think, my expertise. Anyway, we did a great job, and we had completed the whole process. And he called me in the office, and he says, well, we just got our new budget for next year, and we don't have enough room for the both of us. And I figured, well, God's already told me my Cumberland job's over. It was that morning, and I might as well, I said, Mom, why don't you just let me go then? I said, you got 2 young kids, and I got no kids at home. I says, I can find another job quite easy, so fire me, and we'll move on. So we did, and got a job right away just across the water. That was at Comox in Vancouver Island. And I got a job over in Gibson's Landing, which is just outside of Vancouver. You got to take a ferry to go there, but it's on the mainland still. If you've watched the Beachcombers on TV, that's where that's filmed. So amazing place, really great. So I pulled into town. I'm driving to town again, like that the other time in a Comox, and God said, pull over. So I pull over and in this parking lot, and God says, here's my next job for you. He says, I want you to build a dry teen lounge, like no alcohol, a dry teen lounge in this building here. There's an old warehouse in that corner, but a nice warehouse in that corner there. Perfect corner, like ideal corner. And by a dry teen lounge for kids to hang out in, and to, with a Christian focus. Well, that's great, but I'm moving and just got laid off and probably don't have $100 to my name, much less try to do something like that. And can't buy this place, that's for sure. Having a hard time just buying a house for myself, mortgaged up. So anyway, a couple of days after I've been there, this guy comes to my office and knocks on the door and says, yeah, I'm a realtor and developer in town. He says, and God's been talking to me. He wanted me to talk to you about something. He says, what are you doing Thursday night? And I says, oh, nothing. He says, well, can I buy you coffee? I said, sure. So anyway, I went home after work, and my neighbor, he was outside washing his car. And I thought, I'll just go over and introduce myself to my new neighbor. So I go over to Andy there, and how's it going, Andy? And find out what he's doing and where he's going and stuff. And it turns out he's the worship leader at the church we were planning on going to. And so I was great. And he says, oh, you know what? He says, what you should do, he says, on Thursday nights, he says, there's a bunch of us guys from all the churches in town, worship leaders get together, worship teams get together, and jam together. It's fantastic. I said, sounds great. I'd love to come, but I can't come this Thursday. I'm busy. So anyway, Thursday, the realtor picked me up at my house and takes me, of course, to this building that God said us to do the dry teen lounge at. And he says, I don't know what it is, he says, but I want to give you this building to do whatever it is God's calling you to do. And I'll do all the renovations and stuff you need. Wow, okay. So I started telling him what I was doing. He's getting his key out to open the door up, and we hear music. Well, we go inside, and here's my neighbor, Andy, and all the other worship teams in town jamming away in that building. So I tell them the story, too, and they all got excited. We all walked around and figured out what we could do and how to start to draw blueprints and stuff like that already. It was absolutely fabulous. It was great. So I went home that night all pumped about that type of a thing. And then later that night, my wife had already gone to bed and stuff, and I went upstairs to my private little room, and I had a computer up there, and never been on the internet before, just finally got hooked up to it. And I thought, I wonder if it's true that, you can get, porn on the internet without having to go to the drugstore, and get magazines and stuff. Anyway, I typed in something or other. Sure enough, up comes this image, which is still in my head today, 20 years or 30 years later now, and absolutely amazing. So the next morning, I'm driving to work. I can still remember it like it happened right now. I'm driving up the hill, heading to work, and God shows up in the car, and he goes, "Don't like what you did last night." And I go, "Well, I guess that's your problem." He says, "No." He says, "You can't, I'm not having you doing that. You can't be looking at porn and be running my youth group at the same time. So you're going to have to choose. So you either choose to serve me and do the dry lounge thing with the youth, or choose your porn." And I said, "Well, I'm not going to give it up." And God said, "Well, I'm going to take everything away then that I gave you." It's gone. So I get to work, and the realtor's sitting there waiting for me. So, "What's up? What you got going on?" He says, "Hey, I hate to tell you this, Daryl." He says, "But after you left last night," he said, "this guy phoned me up, and he made me an offer on that building. I just couldn't refuse. So I sold the building. So you're going to have to find some other place." Oh. And so, I better tell, about my neighbor buddy that this is kind of off right now before everybody gets too excited about it all. Phoned him, and he says, "Wasn't going to happen anyway." He says, "But after you left," he says, "we got arguing about what type of music and who was going to lead and all this stuff, and basically kind of dissolved our group." So anyway, another strange thing happened. I went to, they had a 5 a.m. Men's prayer meeting. It was that early because a lot of the guys had to catch the first ferry off to go to Vancouver to work. I think it was 6:30 or something. Anyway, and I'm at that, and the two leaders there. One guy was kind of like an Anglican type guy, like very much, like his route and his book and his stuff, and the other guy was more Pentecostal orientated, much more flamboyant, and they got arguing about prayer. And the one guy, "Oh, your prayers sound like they come out of a book," and the other guy says, "Oh, your prayers are so passionate, they don't even make sense." And so they got arguing so bad, they literally knocked the table over and got into an head wrestle on the thing. I mean, crazy as can be. And there was a whole bunch of other stuff I'm not going to tell you about that was going on there, but basically that church split. So anyway, I go to work, and so God gave me the building, took it away. The worship team took it away. And the church we were going to basically took it away. And at work, I had basically got the branch up to everything that it was supposed to be, and it was looking like probably going to get let go. And there was some political going on there that didn't look good. Anyway, it really got me going. And bottom line is, foolish me anyway, I ended up, before I got fired, I ended up quitting. Just, I suppose, just to prove that I'm still in control around here. You're not going to fire me. I'll quit. Basically, I'll tell the rest of that in another story. It'd be better on that side. So, and with that, and the anger and frustration and stuff that I had going through all of those things, especially losing my job, and I'd worked for them for 28 years and totally devoted my life to that company, working 40, 60, 80 hours a week with no extra pay. But that was over. So now I was unemployed, didn't have any money, and didn't have a church to go to. And as far as I knew, God was mad at me. So my depression, anyway, my wife couldn't take it all anymore, so she packed up her bags and she went and lived with a friend. And I basically sat on the couch for the next 4 days and just, I guess, I don't know, felt sorry for myself or whatever it might be, but repented to God and said I was sorry. My wife came back. But the thing is, God does forgive, but there's always consequences to our actions. And the rest of the story we'll do another time, but we'll just leave it at that for now.